Hello and welcome to my video. It's your host, OT19, or Ultimate Gamer 19,000, and I'm here today to present to you all Season 2, Episode 5 of Random Multiclass Thursdays, The Angel of the Dark Gods. Before this video begins, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to do a 360 Taekwondo kick to the subscribe button, and yeah, let's get right into it. So, this build originally did go by a different name. I personally believed this was just the best build in the game you could possibly play at any table. Now this build doesn't do the most damage. That's about it. It's the only thing this build doesn't do. You have really good persuasion and deception checks, which are some of the most important checks in D&D. Your wisdom score is lacking a little bit, but that's fine. Your armor class is going to be exceptionally high. Your melee attacks are exceptionally powerful. Your range attacks are less powerful, but still very potent. Yeah, overall this build just excelled kind of at everything. Now originally, I believe this probably was the best build because of every pillar of play. I feel like this build just did the best. You weren't sacrificing anything important. Yeah, your damage is a little bit lower, but with Divine Smite, because this is a Paladin build, because I do believe Paladin is the best 2014 class. We'll get to that later. Not spoilers, spoilers everywhere. So yeah, lost my train of thought. But yeah, overall, Paladin 2014 was definitely the best class. Now, it's a little shaky. But yeah, overall, I did just believe this build was the best. I mean, if you're going to a new table that doesn't allow Great Weapon Master or anything like that, this build doesn't use anything like any broken feats or weapons. It uses all what's considered to be weak weapons and still does a ample amount of damage. Now, of course, if you switch to a great sword with Great Weapon Master to 2014 version, you'll be much stronger. But this build does have its advantages. Its armor class again is a very big advantage of this build. Yeah, but that was it in 2014. Now in 2024, there definitely are some more glaring issues to today's build. For example, over half of the subclass we've taken for today's build aren't available. So I am using some 2014 subclasses, but don't worry too much. I mainly use them for like flavor and stuff. Because I feel like if you take Draconic Soul Sorcerer and like Gulok or what was the other one? Or like Phaelok, I highly doubt this build's damage won't change by much. It will decrease a little bit, but overall it won't be that big of a change. So I do definitely believe you could make this build with all 2024 subclasses. But I just didn't want to. So yeah, just know if you're not allowed anything 2014, you can easily swap out the subclasses I chose. But to get into the build, for weapons we'll be using a spear and a shield, but switching out that spear for a lance post level 6. I know it says level 7 on the screen. That is incorrect. Now, for our species, we'll be taking Asmar. We're mainly taking Asmar here because, A, it's really cool, but also having resistance to radiant necrotic damage can be really nice. Having dark vision's cool. Healing hands can be very useful. Knowing the light cantrip, really good. Also, gaining a fly speed is just beyond cool. Another feature of the Asmar that I seemingly forgot while doing damage calculations was that they add extra damage to one of your hits. So yeah, uh, so just know that when you go to the damage portions of my build, just add like just add a couple more damage because I did forget the Asmars had that feature, so that's my bad. But yeah, in 2014 we would take human here, very human, to pick a polar master, but now we can't, so that does add some interesting changes to today's build. But I still do think Asmar is a very solid species. And honestly, you could kind of just pick your favorite species. You could go half orc, you could go elf if you wanted to. But I overall just think Asmar is your best choice. Now for origin and origin feat, I'm assuming we're using a custom background or an old background, converting it to 2014. I know some people won't be able to do that, but for today's build, I want everything. So if you're not able to do that, uh, I don't know. I think take Wayfarer. Because basically what we want for this build is to increase our charisma and constitution. And I like tough personally, but if you can't, try to get lucky or alert. I don't have all like the backgrounds fully memorized. But yeah, for today's build, the custom background or the old one revised, we'll be taking dexterity, constitution, charisma as our building score improvements. Our free feat is tough. Again, I feel like many builds can now have a lower constitution solely because tough exists. So overall, I do know. Oh yeah, alert. Tavern brawler or a magic initiate wizard. Yeah, they're all good, but tough is the only feat that is giving you extra abilities, giving you extra stat points. So overall, I just do think tough is very massive. Now, con saves, yes, your con saves are going to be suffering, but for being honest, you're mostly taking tough on characters that probably already gonna have like a bad con save. Let's be honest. If a bard has a +2 to Constitution saves instead of a +3, let's be real. We all know they're using Warcaster and Resilient Constitution to make their con scores bearable. So let's not act like we care. Or even with a paladin, you have your aura protection that just makes your con scores even higher. So overall, I just think taking tough is a very good option, especially something on like sorcerers, because they already have proficiency with con. So if their con's a little lower, they don't really care. Now for skill proficiencies here, I have Deception and Sleight of Hand. We're gonna be lying to people, so I just put that honestly. Pick your favorite skill proficiencies, and yeah, now we'll get into stats. Now I did put a 13 into strength because we need that to multi-class, a 14 dexterity to get +2 from a half plate, a 13 con +1 to a total of 14 because we have tough, a 9 wisdom, which pains me so much, but we have aura protection and proficiency of wisdom saves, so we should be fine. And also our charisma modifier 15 +2 to a total of 17. Those are our stats. Now, for level 1, we'll be taking a level of Warlock. The reason why we're taking level Warlocks is because of Eldritch Invocation. I think we all know what I'm going to take here, but the other things we get that's really cool from Warlock is Wisdom and Charisma saving throw proficiencies, which Wisdom is the most important saving throw in the game. Yeah, Dexterity may be more common, but there is nothing quite as crippling as a hold person, dominate person, banish. I mean, yeah, banish is a wisdom. Banish is either wisdom or charisma. We have proficiency in both. So yeah, most wisdom saves or even some charisma saves are very, very crippling. So having proficiency in both is a one. Now, for level 1, part 2, we also get Pact of the Blade. This is one of our Eldritch Invocations. This basically allows us to attack with our Charisma modifier with any weapon we touch. So it could be any simple or martial melee weapon, which we will be using a spear. I'm pretty sure spears are also simple, so you do have proficiency with them. Basically, we can just use our Charisma modifier to attack, and also, it can either deal necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage instead of its normal type. That is pretty damn cool. Now, for level 1 Warlock spells, we'll be taking Eldritch Blast and True Strike because we're Warlock. Why are we not taking Eldritch Blast? Come on. And also, you could kind of do that anime thing where a character like thruster spear and like a magical conjuration just like comes forth. Or do like the air slash thing, whatever you fancy, to reflavor your Eldritch Blast. Also, we'll be taking Hex and Witch Bolt. Witch Bolt is now really good. I mean, you can now use your bonus action to deal a d12 lightning damage, which, hey, level 1 as a Hex Blade, well, X Hexblade, that's actually very powerful. And of course, Hex is good old reliable, a spell we will be using quite often until like 11th level. So yeah, Hex is quite a useful one. Now at level 2, we'll be taking our first level Paladin. We get Lay on Hands, which basically gives us a pool of HP equal to 5 times our Paladin level, and they recharge per long rest. And as a bonus action, you can heal the creature for amount of hit points to as we decide, but we do have to remove them from the pool. If we spend 5 hit points, we can cure the poison condition, and yeah, that's it. Overall, Lay on Hands, pretty cool. Bonus action heal, very good in combat to just pick up an ally that may be nearly die. Maybe they feel like 2 death saves or turns around. Boom, heal them. No problem. We also get weapon masteries. Now, I personally chose a spear because I think spears are cooler, but you probably should take quarterstaff at these earlier levels because with quarterstaff you could potentially knock someone on their booty, granting you permanent advantage. Granted, at character level 4, pally level 3, we'll be taking a certain subclass that almost, I'm gonna say permanently gives us advantage. So yeah, don't really stress out about that too much. But yeah, I say quarterstaff for levels 1 through for levels 2 through 4 if you really want to metamance, if you really want to be that annoying. Well, levels 2 to 3 quarterstaff if you want to be annoying, or just spirit out. You probably will notice a small decrease in damage, but it doesn't really matter. Now, for level 1 paladin spells, we'll be taking Divine Flavor and Bless. Divine Favor, oh, not Flavor, Divine Favor, it's really good. I mean, a D4 to our attacks, especially using Polar Master. Spoilers, which we will be using. It just gives us so much extra damage. Because again, when we're making 3 to 4 attacks in a turn, Divine Favor, that's 3 to 44. It may seem small, but it adds up eventually. And Bless is just one of the best spells in the game. I've been watching a lot of low level D&D recently, and seeing characters cast Bless and completely just turn a combat. People succeed their saves, people succeed on their attacks. Bless is a very, very powerful spell, and if you don't really care for damage, I think Bless might be a better option than Witch Bolt or even Hex, but then don't say I said that. Now, for level 3, we'll be taking a second level of Paladin. We'll now be taking a fighting style, which I picked Dueling. Dueling gives us a +2 to our damage if we wield a weapon in one hand, which we're wielding a shield and a quarterstaff or spear, so we probably want that. We also get Divine Smite, which, assuming we're not using replacing Hex or casting it, or not using Witch Bolt, I guess you can use the once per long rest Divine Smite, but I'm gonna be honest here, I am never. This build is not a smiting build. Divine Smite, so sadly so, is not the best option when it comes to damage for a paladin anymore. It's simply not. It is way too damn expensive, way too damn costly. A high level a spell slot plus your bonus action when if we're looking at it here, taking something like Divine Favor plus Polar Master plus Haste and all that other stuff we can add. Well, not Haste, but like Magic Weapon, we can just make our butt attack do so much more damage while buffing our main weapon. So it's just there's so much more synergy with just not using Paladin Smite. Now again, that just really hurts because I love Divine Smite. I love the idea of a Paladin channeling their oath, their holy magic to just whack the hell out of someone, literally. But now it's just simply not good anymore. Of course, I don't know if maybe your pole arm gets cut. I don't know, like yeah, there's not many scenarios where you want to use Divine Smite. Maybe if you're forced to like use a dagger or something, maybe imply a Divine Smite on that. But overall, rest in peace, Divine Smite. But now at level 3 we do gain Channel Divinity. We do now gain the Divine Sense Channel Divinity, which basically as a bonus action, for 10 minutes we can sense all Celestial, Fiend, and Undead. That can be pretty cool. The fact it uses Channel Divinity though is not cool at all, so meh. But the real use of our Channel Divinity is at level 3 because we will be taking the Paladin subclass Oath of Vengeance. Now, Vengeance Paladin is very, very powerful. Now, at 3rd level, they do gain some spells that are always prepared. They get Bane and Hunter's Mark. We're not using Hunter's Mark because of reasons. Rest in peace, the Ranger, of course. Bane is a very powerful spell. I have seen again Bane make enemies fail saving throws, or even allies fail saving throws. Someone casts Bane on their allies. Also, it being a charisma save is pretty good, unless you're trying to get a dragon or anything. But I find it funny that the guy in the picture is a Dragonborn. They have Bane, which Bane is a pretty bad spell for most dragons because they have like a 24 charisma or something ridiculously high. So yeah, that's pretty nice. We also get Valve Enemy when you take the attack action, you can use one use of your Channel Divinity to utter a Valve Enemy against a creature you see within 30 feet of yourself. You have advantage on attack rolls against that creature for 1 minute or until you use this feature again. Oh, it's just so good. And also, you can transfer it completely for free if a creature drops to 0 HP before the vow ends. Beautiful. I mean, this basically grants us permanent advantage. Also, I do want to note that your Channel Divinity, one use of Channel Divinity does reset on a short rest. All uses come back on a long rest, and you have 2 uses of it. Just want to note that. Yeah, Valve Enemy, really good. I will be assuming we just have permanent advantage because, I guess if you have 2 fights in a row and then no short rest, then yeah. But I feel like most people probably will have like, because again, if you're facing like Boblin, the hastily named goblin, you probably shouldn't be using Valve Enemy on them. You should probably just be like stabbing them or whacking them with your quarterstaff and or spear. So I'm assuming in 2 fights where you think the armor classes are high enough or Valve Enemy is worth it, these fights must be pretty difficult ones, so I definitely can't think two difficult fights that warrant Valve Enmity. You probably will be getting a short rest, if not a long rest, depending on how difficult the fights are at the end of it. So yeah, overall, Oath of Vengeance, just super, super cool. Now, at level 5, we reach our 4th level in Paladin, granting us Polar Master. Now, we can increase either our Dexterity or Strength score by 1 with this feat. Um, Pick your favorite. You could increase your Dex to 15 or your Strength to 14. Oh, about to sneeze, but it's not coming in. I hate that so much. We also get Polearm Strike. When we take the attack action with a quarterstaff, spear, or a weapon has the heavy and reach property, we can use our bonus action to make a melee attack with the opposite end of the weapon. This weapon deals bludgeoning damage, and the weapon's damage is a D4. Oh, that's oh yes, good old Polar Master. But then I've seen a lot of people talk smack about Polar Master say, oh, Polar Master's washed, it no longer works for Great Weapon Master, it's washed, whatever. Polar Master is still very good, especially for sword and board characters. So I think just now, instead of Polar Master being really good for every single type of martial, it's not only good for sword and board or spear and board now because of dueling, and you can just get that dueling buff as many times as possible. But yeah, Polar Master, very good. I wish Tridents were considered a polearm because I love Tridents. I think they're really cool, but no, of course they aren't. It also get reactive strike. When you're holding a quarterstaff or spear or weapon that has the heavier to reach or heavy and reach properties, you can take a reaction to make one melee weapon attack against a creature that enters the reach you have with the weapon. With the reach property, that now means if a creature enters within 10 feet of you, you can now take an opportunity attack, which is pretty cool. Now, this is not played well with Sentinel, but we're not taking Sentinel, so that doesn't matter. Now, let's get to our level 5 damage report. On turn 1, we'll be casting Divine Favor, then attacking for an average of 11 damage. On turn 2, we'll be casting Hex, and attacking for an average of 14.5 damage. On level 3, we'll be taking our attack action, and in bonus action attack, dealing an average of 28 points of damage, with an average of hit of 16.5, with permanent advantage. Pretty damn good. This damage is lacking a little compared to all of our other martials, but remember, we don't have extra attack yet, so considering extra attack, you basically can just double all of these numbers, and yeah, we do a lot of damage. Now, we'll be getting to level 6, probably the biggest level for this build. I mean, here we get extra attack and Faithful Steed. This allows us to freely cast the Find Steed spell and always have it prepared. And if you didn't know, if you're wielding a lance, it no longer has the two-handed property while you are mounted, meaning giddy up on your fine steed, switch out to a lance, and just start stabbing people with your lance, dealing the D10 for its damage dice. Yeah, which is a significant buff over the D6. I think it's on average is like a 2 damage increase, which it doesn't seem like much, but when you consider the fact you're doing a lot of attacks with this build, then you're cooking with gas, I would say. Overall, Flying Steed is just really good spell. I think like at level 10 or 9, we'll actually be able to make our Flying Steed has a fly speed, meaning we're going to be having a Flying Steed pretty damn soon. Now, for our level 2 Paladin spells, we'll be taking Aid, Lesser Restoration, and Magic Weapon. Of course, you can take a combination of these. Magic Weapon and Aid are very powerful. Now, Aid isn't as good yet because we haven't multiclassed into Sorcerer, spoilers, but I definitely do think Aid, Lesser Restoration, and Magic Weapon are definitely good pickups right here. Especially if you can't go to subclass, I went with Sorcerer. Now, level 7 is also a very big level because we reach Paladin 6, gaining us our Aura Protection. Basically, in a 10-foot animation from ourselves, every creature, all of our allies in there, gain a bonus to saving throws. Equal to our Charisma modifier, we also gain that bonus. This just allows us to have a +3 to all of our saving throws and all of our allies' saving throws, making our wisdom saves significantly better now, which is, I think it's a +5 now. Yeah, should be a +5, which is pretty damn good. Now, at level 8, we'll be taking our first level of Sorcerer. Yes, I know, delaying another fee in ASI, But man, it's just sorcerer is just so good. We get innate sorcery. This basically acts as our mage rage twice per long rest. Using our bonus action, the spell save DC of our sorcerer spells increased by 1, which can be pretty damn useful, and we have advantage on attack rolls of sorcerer spells we cast, which we probably won't be doing too often because again, Eldritch Blast. So yeah, overall, Sorcerer 1 pretty cool, but you also get some very nice spells. Mage Hand, Presentation, and Mending are cool cantrips. You already have the best cantrip in the game, so no need for other really like non-utility cantrips. And also, we'll be taking Shield and Featherfall. Shield gives us an impossibly high AC, especially since we're wielding the shield now, plus half plate. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. And also, Featherfall is pretty damn nice because it's one of those spells that, oh, if you use it, it's really good. Now, as a ninth level sorcerer, we get Font of Magic. Basically, this gives us sorcery points. We gain sorcery points as we level up. We have a amount of sorcery points equal to our sorcery levels. We gain all of them back on a long rest. Yeah, blah blah blah. But now we get meta magics. Meta magics is basically options we can do that enhance our spells, making them stronger or have additional effects. The two we'll be taking is, to no one's surprise, I feel, is Quicken and Twin Spell. Quicken Spell is such a nice feature. I mean, Find Steed, if you have your free casting of it, is an action, so you could just Quicken Find Steed, or if it ever falls down, you could just Quicken Find Steed, get on it, and then just continue to stab people with your lance. Quicken Spell is just so good. And also Twin Spell, 20 Hold Person, 20 Banishment. It did get nerfed, but trust me, it is still a very powerful meta magic option. Both of them are just the best one, so you kind of have to pick both. Now, for our 10th level, we'll be taking our 3rd level in Sorcerer and picking up our subclass, the Divine Soul. Now, the reason why we're picking up Divine Soul here is because it just fits best with the Paladin. I really like the idea of Divine Soul Sorcerer Paladin. Now, if you're not allowed to pick Divine Soul Sorcerer for some reason, but you're allowed a custom subclass, a custom background, I don't know. But honestly, I think probably just take like Draconic or honestly pick your favorite. Divine Soul doesn't do much for us. I mean, it does do a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it does do a lot. But you can definitely replace with another subclass and still see the same amount of damage. Divine Soul isn't really adding much to our damage from what I can remember. Yeah, none of the spells, because I didn't use Divine Weapon here. I chose to use Haste instead. I know Haste is a little more risky, but I just chose to use that. Now, of course, you can use Divine Weapon if you want, but if you can't use Divine Weapon, meaning you can't use Divine Soul Sorcerer, that's going to be a problem, so I just chose Haste. Now, we do get Divine Magic, allowing us to either get Cure Wounds, Inflict Wounds, Bless, a Bane, or Protection from Evil or Good. I suppose we always have prepared. I personally will pick Bane because that gets a +1 thanks to our like Sorcerer's Burst or whatever, meaning the saving throw is a lot harder. We also get Favor of the Gods. When we feel a saving throw or miss an attack roll, we can add 2d4 and add it to total, possibly changing the roll. This is a once per short or long rest feature, however, but a very, very powerful one. So yeah, if we ever fail a con save on keeping up haste, which you will be casting it, you just use your Favor of the Gods, succeed on it. I mean, combined with your like charisma modifier, probably will be succeed on it. And also, we will be taking a spell that we will be taking a feat that increases our charisma very soon in 1 level. Now, for level 2 spells, I took Suggestion and Prayer of Healing. Prayer of Healing is a must-have in my opinion. Honestly, I could definitely see you taking Prayer of Healing at 6th level to regain all of your uses of Channel Divinity and your Warlock spell slot. You probably should take Prayer of Healing a little sooner. I just chose to put it here, but yeah, Prayer of Healing, if you didn't take it all the way back at probably like 5 or 6, you have to take it here. Prayer Healing of 8 are just very powerful spells. I do think by this level, I think it might be I think it might be in this next level, we will be having a Flying Mount soon, so you can either pick having 5 more HP with Aid or using your Flying Mount. I probably will pick the Flying Mount because that's really cool, but yeah, I definitely do think Prayer of Healing and Aid are 2 of the must-have spells in my opinion. Now, our level 10 damage reports. Not much has changed except that we are now casting Magic Weapon at 3rd level to gain a +2 to hit, and with our extra attack we are now averaging 25 points of damage. Now on turn 2 we cast Divine Favor and attack, we average 30 points of damage. We cast Hex and attack, averaging 37 points of damage. On turn 4 we attack A bonus action attack averaging 52.5 points of damage. Of course, add a +4 if you decide to use your Asmar's Burst. That will take another bonus action, so take you another round, but do as you wish. And also, we have an average of hit of 19.5 thanks to Magic Weapon with permanent advantage thanks to being a Vengeance Paladin. Pretty damn good, pretty solid numbers. Now, at level 11, we'll be taking our 4th level Sorcerer, where we'll be taking Warcaster. Now, I know some people might say, oh, you can't cast spells because you're wielding a shield. Shut up. Paladins can have a holy symbol which acts as their spellcasting focus. Just put it on your shield, put it on your chest, put it on your arm, just put it somewhere and you'll be fine. And if your DM still wants to be annoying, I don't know, just say, oh yeah, I tucked my spear back in by the end of combat so you can cast shield and all that. So much loops and hoops, whatever. Now, if your DM is one of those really annoying people, you don't have to worry about it. You can just take Warcaster. You can increase your charisma score by 1 to 18, which is super nice on this build because we don't get many ability score improvements on this build. We also have advantage on all con saves to maintain concentration, Dao in favor of the gods, plus aura protection. We're not feeling con saves mainly. We also get reactive spell. When your creature provokes an opportunity attack, we can now use our reaction to cast a spell at the creature rather than make an opportunity attack. We're probably still just going to want to whack him in the face. Well, I mean, I guess we have, you probably just want to whack him in the face. And also, you can now perform the somatic components of a spell even when you have weapon or shield in one or both hands. Yeah, bada boom. Now, as a 12th level character, we'll be taking our 5th level Warlock. We get Sorcerer Restoration. When you finish a short rest, you regain expended sorcery points, but no more than a number equal to half your Sorcerer level, so 2. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Yeah, extra sorcery points is really nice, especially when Quicken Spell is still very busted. Now, I know you might see a wall of level 3 spells. Let me clear that up. A lot of these spells are very good. We have Fireball, Counterspell, Haste, Hypnotic Pattern, Revivify, Spirit Guardian, Sending, Remove Curse, Dispel Magic, Mass Healing Word. Now, a lot of these spells are mainly utility, some with control. But I want you to kind of keep into account how is your team looking. If you already have someone that can be casting Fireball or something stronger than Fireball, you probably shouldn't be taking Fireball. If you have someone that uses Hypnotic Pattern every other day, you probably shouldn't be using Hypnotic Pattern. If you have someone that can cast Remove Curse and Sending and Spell Magic and Masking Word, maybe you shouldn't take those spells. Now, of course, if someone can already cast Revivify, you should always take Revivify because Revivify is just very broken. But again, overall, I just recommend picking up Haste, Revivify, and then honestly, those two are the really only like must-haves in my opinion. The rest, honestly, pick your favorite. Now you could go Spiritual Guardians instead of Haste if you want to be a little more safe. Again, that is up to your opinion. Now, if you're not a Divine Soul Sorcerer, you can't take Spiritual Guardians, but yeah. If you want to, you could take Spirit Guardians instead of Haste. Your damage will be less, but you are safer, so it's really kind of pick your favorite. And also, as a 13th level character, we'll be taking our 2nd level of Warlock. This is to mainly get a subclass at 3rd level. We get Magical Cunning. Basically, if we perform an Esoteric Rite for 1 minute, at the end of it, you regain expended packed magic slots, but no more than number equal to half your maximum. So basically, 1 packed magic slot. We can only do so when you can only do this again when you finish a long rest. I don't care. Prayer of Healing. We have Prayer of Healing. Like, let's be real. Prayer of Healing is so much better. So you don't really care for that. I mean, it is once per long rest. So, man. We also get Agonizing Blast. This allows us to add our Charisma modifier to our Eldritch Blast. We'll be taking Eldritch Blast because Eldritch Blast is OP. So yeah, Agonizing Blast. Our range damage just significantly increased, and I chose Mask of Many Faces because being able to always cast a size self without spending a spell slot is pretty damn solid. Now, as a 14th level character, we'll be taking Hexblade. Yeah, thought Hexblade was dead. Yeah, we're still taking, even though we have to take 3 levels of Warlock, Hexblade Warlock is still very obscenely powerful. Hexblade Paladins are still really good. If you don't know, we're taking Hexblade Warlock here because of Hexblade's curse. You gain a bonus to damage and rolls against the cursed target. This bonus equals your proficiency bonus. just a lot of damage when you're making the amount of attacks we are. Any attack where you make against a cursed target is a critical hit on a 19 or 20. That is really nice. If the cursed target dies, you regain hit points equal to your warlock level plus your charisma modifier, minimum of 1, and you can use this feature until you finish a short or long rest. So it is a bonus action to do it, but you just gain so many juicy benefits that you have to take Hexblade here. Now for our level 2 Warlock spells, here I took Invisibility and Spider Climb. I don't know, I just took them. At level 15, we take our 6th level in Sorcerer, getting us Empowered Healing. So at 6th level, the Divine Energy courses through you can now empower healing spells. When you are an ally within 5 feet of you, rolls dice to determine the number of hit points. You can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll any number of those dice once, provided you are incapacitated. You can only use this feature once per turn. Oh god, I was about to sneeze again, but it just won't come out. It's so annoying, I'm sorry. Alright, on your turn 1, you'll be casting Magic Weapon at level 3 and then attacking for 27 points of damage on average. Turn 2, you'll be casting Haste and use Hexblade Curse. Now on turn 1, you could cast Haste and Hexblade Curse. I don't know, do whatever you feel like. I just did it in that order. You probably should be casting Haste and Hexblade Curse on turn 2, that makes more sense, but meh, whatever. On turn 3, you'll be casting Divine Favor and attacking for an average of 63 damage. And on turn 4, you'll be attacking using our bonus action to attack, dealing an average of 81 points of damage. A pretty significant amount of damage. We are hitting very hard. We do spend a decent amount of resources here, 2 3rd level slots and around 1 1st level, but we do have a lot of spell slots, so we can do that semi-reliably, I feel. And also we can use, and also our average to hit is 21.5 thanks to Magic Weapon, and our Charisma score increase with permanent advantage thanks to Vengeance Paladin. Now, at level 16, we'll be taking our 7th level in Sorcerer, getting us Sorcery Incarnate. If you have no uses of innate sorcery left, you can spend 2 sorcery points when you take the bonus action to activate it. In addition, while your innate sorcery feature is active, you can now use 2 of your meta magic options on each spell you cast. So now you could quicken and twin a hold person, which is it's simply amazing. Now with 4th level spells, we'll be taking Banishment, Charm Monster, Dimension Door, Dominate Beast, Greater Invisibility, Polymorph, and Ice Storm. Again, pick your favorite. Twinned Quicken Banishment is beyond annoying. Twin Quickened Charm Monster, Dominate Beast, Quicken and Twin Greater Invisibility. Yeah, you're gonna be cooking, I'll tell you that much. Overall, really good spells at 4th level. None of them are really damage spells though, but they're all pretty damn good utility. Now, at level 17, we'll be taking our 8th level Sorcerer, finally maxing out our Charisma at 17th level. I feel like it's more likely we'll get like a Tome of Leadership and Influence before we reach level 17. But we are now maxing out our Charisma. Or just get some item that gives us a +2 to con. Or Charisma, yeah. It's the best it's the best option we can do for damage, and also we can finally max it out. Now, at level 18, we'll be taking a 7th level Paladin, picking up Relentless Avenger. This feature is basically useless. Basically, when you take an opportunity attack of a creature, it can reduce the creature's speed to 0 until the end of your next turn, and then you can move up to half your speed as the part of that same reaction. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Skip. At level 19, however, we're taking our 8th level Paladin, giving us the boon of combat prowess. We can basically, when we miss an attack roll, we can hit instead. You can only use this feature until the start of your next turn. We're getting a +1 charisma here. Now, at level 19, we're taking our 4th level of Warlock, giving us the boon of fate, which basically, when you are in a creature within 60 feet of us, succeed or fails on a d20 test. No, sorry. We can roll 2d4 and apply that to the total rolled as a bonus or penalty to the d20 test. And once you use this feature, you can't do it until you roll initiative or finish a short or long rest. Very interesting. And this gives us a +1 to charisma, making our charisma a 22. So yeah, we are having one of the lower charismas on most characters to now having one of the higher charismas of most character. Real funny how that works out. Now, our level 20 damage report on turn 1 will be casting Magic Weapon at 6th level and taking an attack action, dealing 33 points of damage. Turn 2, casting Haste and using Hexblade's Curse. Turn 3, casting Divine Favor and attacking for an average of 75 points of damage. And on turn 4, attacking bonus action attack for an average of 97 points of damage with the average hit of 25.5. Now, you do not have to waste a 6th level slot on Magic Weapon. You can just waste a third one, but for the sake of peak numbers and peak damage, we'll be taking that. Of course, if you want to use the 3rd level slot, just take a -1 from everything you see here, and you'll be fine. But yeah, that's today's build. I think now time for some final commentary and overall, how did this build survive the 2014 move? Okay, this build definitely has some issues. First of all, your charisma modifier is still pretty low. I'm at level 17 is when we maxed it out. Which, I mean, there are some scenarios where you could have maxed it out earlier, taking that 4th level Warlock sooner. But overall, I do believe that if you're losing out on Variant Human does hurt this build a lot, because at level 4 or 5th level, we'd be able to take Warcaster then and then just be fine, and then increase our charisma later. But yeah, we'd be able to have our charisma at 20 by level, what was it, level 11. We'd be able to have a 20 charisma if we had Variant Human, but Variant Human no longer exists, and I'm sorry, Polar Master gives us a lot of damage. But overall, I'd say this build is still very good. I can definitely see this build being used, but just know that it does have a little more issues. It did receive a very soft nerf, but again, that is my opinion. If you disagree or agree with me, make sure to leave that down below. And yeah, I think that's all for today's video. OT19 signing out. Peace.